Hello everyone, this is the Cost and Management Accounting 3 program of BCom 5th semester, Mangalore University, and the session is the 52nd session. In this session of operating costing, we will be analyzing the different cost units and the preparation of operating cost statement. Before we move further, we will have a small recap. In the previous session, we have studied the meaning of operating costing and the features of operating costing. The learning objective of this session will be to know the different cost units and to know the pro forma of operating cost statement. The session outcomes will be to understand the concept of different cost units and to understand the different elements that are in operating cost statement. So first we will find out what is a cost unit. A cost unit is the unit of quantity in terms of which costs are ascertained and expressed. It is the cost allocated to a selected unit and calculated as the cost over a period of time divided by the number of items produced. That is a cost unit. It is the unit of quantity in terms of which costs are ascertained and expressed. The cost units are determined with reference to nature of work and the purpose for which cost has to be computed. In operating costing, there are two kinds of cost units. They are simple cost unit and composite cost unit. In simple cost unit, there is only one variable. For example, in a transport company, simple cost unit can be per mile or per kilometer. In a canteen, it can be per item or per meal. In a waterworks, it can be per 1000 liter. Here what we see is there is only one variable. So a simple cost unit will have only one variable. Composite cost unit. When more than one measuring units are grouped or combined together for use as a cost unit, it is called as a composite cost unit. Composite cost unit consists of more factors or variables which have a close relationship. For example, in a goods transport company, the composite cost unit will be per ton kilometer or per quintal kilometer. In a passenger transport company, it will be per passenger mile or per passenger kilometer. In a hospital, it can be per bed per day. In a cinema theater, it can be per man show. Here what we see is these cost unit consist of more factors or variables which have a close relationship. So these are the composite cost units. Now we come to the classification of costs. Operating costs can be usually classified into three categories. That is fixed or standing charges, maintenance charges, running or operating charges. Fixed or standing charges include those expenses which are fixed in nature. These expenses are constant and are incurred irrespective of the extent of the service. They include expenses like insurance, license fees, road tax, administration expenses, etc. For example, in a transport company, the fixed costs do not depend on the number of trips made or distance run by vehicle. Here, certain charges will remain constant irrespective of the number of trips made or distance run by the vehicle. Second type is maintenance charges. These costs are incurred on the repairs and maintenance. They are semi-variable and semi-fixed in nature. They include, for example, in the transport industry, wear and tear of tires and tubes, painting charges, spares and accessories, etc. Running or operating charges. These are variable costs. These costs are the expenses that vary in proportion to the volume of service that business generates. These costs increase as the volume of the activity increase and decrease as the volume of the activity decrease. For example, in a company involved in transporting goods, Petrol or diesel costs vary with the increase or decrease in kilometers run. This is the general classification. Alternatively, the cost can be classified into two broad categories, that is fixed cost or fixed charges and variable cost or variable charges. It has to be noted that there is no hard and fast rules on classification of cost. An item of cost may be considered as variable in one circumstance and in another it may be considered as fixed. For example, wages of drivers, if it depends on the actual distance covered or service rendered, will be treated as variable cost. But if it is fixed, irrespective of the actual operation, it will be treated as fixed charges. Now we come to the general format of statement of operating cost sheet for a transport company. In this format, we see the fixed or standing charges, wages of driver, wages of manager, accountant, clerk, salary of supervisor, insurance, license fees, road tax, garage rent, permit fees, office and administration overhead, supervision charges, workshop expenses, stationery expenses, cost of tire, tube, depreciation if it is related to flux of time, and then we see the variable charges, depreciation if it is related to operation, repairs and maintenance charges, diesel or petrol charges, and we have the operating cost per passenger or ton kilometer in a transport company. This is the format of statement of operating cost sheet for a transport company. Now come to the summary of this session. In this session, we have come to know the meaning of different cost units and we are able to understand the types of cost units, and also we have come to know how cost statements are prepared. Thank you.